Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. Glad you could join us today. Oh, I forgot to wear an over. I live in t-shirts. What can I tell you? I'll figure this stuff out eventually. The chat is open. Feel free to jump in there and we can discuss anything you guys want to discuss. I'm still working on my lighting issues. I see some improvements. Someday I'll get this all right. I blame the production department. Okay. There is no production department. That's what the problem is. Right? I can't help it. It's just me. You got one old guy sitting on his couch trying to figure everything out, and he likes to click buttons. What can I say? I did look up some lighting and I have a plan next month. Well, it takes time. We'll get there eventually. This is an open chat room. Anyone can talk about anything they want to discuss. Our basic rule of thumb here is please stay within the community guidelines that YouTube has established. Let's not piss off YouTube. Okay. It's the only platform that we're streaming on. So if we piss them off, we're not going to be on the air. Ghost Mostly is an alias that I used in a former project that I just pushed forward to this project. I like the name Ghost Mostly. I think it's catchy. The whole idea here is just to have an open chat where anybody can feel free to discuss anything. There's no set agenda here. We're not only going to talk about one subject. Okay. It's whatever the chat of that day wants to discuss. That's what we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about it. There's no sponsor. There's no mid-roll ads. There's no, I'm not selling you anything. Okay. I'm one of the few guys you can find on TV that's not pitching products, that's not attempting to manipulate or control you or even change your mind. Okay. I'm not coming out with a line of merch. It's just not going to happen. Ghost Mostly Media, LLC, that I created for this project needs to get the subscribers and the viewing hours to the tiered levels that YouTube has established. We've got to get there eventually. I do want the company to be monetized eventually, but there's no rush. I know that it's self-defeating. Yes, I do need likes and subscribes and the viewing hours, but they're not going to cost you any money. And I'm not going to make any money off of those. Okay. That's not what this show is about. This show is because when I was younger, I used to get online and chat in open chat rooms. And I don't find those open chat rooms anymore. I don't want to be on any of the other platforms. I don't like any of the other platforms. The platform I've chosen for this project is just YouTube. That's the only one that matters to me. If I wanted to get in all those other platforms, I would. I have no desire. Okay. I like the YouTube platform, the way that they've got it set up. All my equipment and everything was all Google related. And once it's all plugged in, it all works. I just flipped water on my computer screen. I don't know why. Well, I got some condensation from my beverage. Okay. It got on my fingers and I flicked them. It didn't hit the camera, so we're okay. You know, hopefully I'll try not to dump this Gatorade. The whole idea with this is I'll probably be posting videos at some point, and I'll be putting other shows on the air at some point. And those will be for profit. But this show, I put this show on for me. I worked in Vegas for in excess of 30 years in the table games, and I got used to meeting 100 different people from all over the globe every week. And in my retirement or semi-retirement, however you want to look at it, I miss that. So I'm putting on the chat room and people can get in and chat. And I can meet people from all the way around the globe again. That's my goal. I'm not selling you anything, not trying to control or manipulate anyone. I'm trying to just simply meet people and talk to them, have a discussion. I don't want to put a thumb on the scale and say, oh, we have to talk about this or we have to talk about that. If you don't like what I'm talking about, jump in the chat and change the subject. Okay? We can do that. Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've invited you into my living room to have a discussion. Please conduct yourself accordingly. There are no moderators. I'll do the moderating. It's just a guy on his couch. That's the whole show. Yeah, I meant to wear a shirt today over my t-shirt. No, I'm not stoned. I have not been smoking marijuana today. Not yet. I will later after the stream. Generally, when I end the stream, I smoke a bowl and I go for a nice walk in the park. Well, I will have been sitting for 2 straight hours, right? Exercise is good. I didn't get to walk yesterday. It was raining. I didn't want to walk in the rain. Well, walking in the rain and it can be fun. But yesterday there was too much rain, so it wouldn't have been fun. It would have been wet and cold. So the whole point of the show is that the chat becomes the guest stars of this show. And I basically just fall away into ghost status and you barely even know that I'm here. The stars are going to be the people in the chat. Now, in order to chat, you need to use your phone, tablet, or computer. Go to YouTube, download their Discord app. I believe it's free. Once you do that, you can enable the chat on your television screen and see it scroll up. I'm going to attempt to read as many of the chats as possible. If I have knowledge on a certain subject, I might jump in with my own opinion, but I don't know everything. So, we're probably going to be talking about things that I know nothing about. I'm still working on the set by not having a studio and not having a production staff or a makeup artist. Okay. I keep my overhead down. I'm my only overhead on this channel, other than my licensing cost. My only overhead is $13.99 a month that I pay to YouTube, and they gave me 2 channels. I'm excited about it. First time in my life I ever had this much power. I want to put anything on TV, I want to put on TV. That's a lot of power. I never had that when I was a young man, believe me. We're getting views. I think I have 6 subscribers already. Okay. We're getting views. People are watching. They're just not chatting for whatever reason. Well, when they get tired of hearing me talk, they'll chat. And somebody eventually has got to jump in there and tell me to shut up. Well, until the chat populates, it's just going to be me sitting here talking in my computer. It'll probably get old fast. Well, I made a decision that I would do this for a period of 3 years. Give myself a fair shot at building a community that wants to chat every afternoon. There are membership things on YouTube. I really haven't looked into them. Once we have members, I'll contact the members and find out what they want as far as, do they want a private live stream on Saturdays or something that's members only, or, well, I'm willing to please. Okay. We can change things. We can adjust the time of the show. We can adjust what we need to adjust for the people that want to watch and participate in this show. I'm just keeping everything generalized at this point until the chat jumps in here and forms their opinion. If the chat says that we have to be from 4 to 6 instead of 3 to 5, well, we'll make that adjustment when that time comes. Same thing if they want me on an hour earlier, whatever. I'm giving you 10 hours a week, okay? 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I don't see anybody else giving you an open chat room, so not on YouTube. I don't like any of the other social media platforms. I feel they are they have as many negatives as they do positives. So, yeah, I'm not going to advertise on them. I'm not going to do shorts. No, I don't have a website. Okay. I'm not selling you anything. Not with this show. Down the road, I do need my media company to be monetized by YouTube at some point. We'll get there eventually. Right now, YouTube has no idea what this show is even about. Okay. Their algorithm will analyze the show, and eventually they will put us in the recommended category for the people that want to chat. So if you ever wanted to talk to your TV, here's your opportunity. I'll answer. Well, I'm going to sit here for 2 hours every day, so I look forward to the chat populating, and then you guys can quit finding out so much about me. I don't want to be the star. I want to be in the background. Okay. The people in the chat should be the guest stars on a daily basis. It's your opinion. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your thoughts. I think everyone has the right to speak their mind and to have themselves heard. There are a lot of possibilities for this show and what it grows into. We'll see. Like I said, I made a promise to myself that I'll do this for 3 years. We'll see how it works out. I'm drinking Gatorade. My doctor told me I needed electrolytes, so I put this into my daily routine. Well, the whole reason to put it in my daily routine is to follow the doctor's orders, and hopefully I'll live longer, be healthier, you know. The older you get, the more you listen to a doctor, right? When you're young, you think you're indestructible, you don't care, right? And it's like, yeah, blah, 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 eat healthy, yeah. Well, I got past those younger days, and now I'm into the days where I'm thinking, I would like to be around for another 20 years, let's make that happen, you know. And fortunately, I got a doctor that's, willing to overlook my cigarette smoking and put up with my attitude. Okay. She's a good doctor. I think I can trust her. Well, trusting the doctor and trusting their billing department are two different things. Keep that in mind. Okay. I smoke cigarettes and marijuana on a daily basis. I don't recommend that for anyone. And I do live in an area of the United States where recreational marijuana is legal. I am not recommending anyone smoke anything, and I'm not recommending anyone do anything illegal ever. The average people in the world are not evil. They're not bad guys. Okay. The average people never think about breaking a law. If they do break a law, it's generally by accident. Oh, I wasn't paying attention to my speed, officer. I'm sorry, it crept up on me. It's accidental. It's not on purpose. It's not premeditated. Accidents happen. We're human beings. We're not perfect. We're flawed. You want to see a flawed human being going through life? Watch this show. Okay. I wear the t-shirts and whatnot and I have the long hair and the unruly beard because I don't care. I wore a suit and tie and my hair was coiffed and I looked nice and clean cut for many years, but I'm not out in the workforce anymore. You guys are, okay? Not me. So I'm just along for the ride. Okay. You guys are in the driver's seat. You are the ones that can get into the chat and control this show, make it go any way you want to go. If you want to talk about, I don't know, crochet, needlepoint, jump in the chat. We'll discuss it at nausea. I don't care what we talk about. That's the whole point in having an open chat room is I don't want to control it. I don't want to control the content. I want to see what the chat wants to talk about. If the chat wants to talk about gardening, we'll talk about gardening. If they want to talk about driving cars really fast, we can talk about driving cars really fast. Okay? I don't care. I don't want this to be only a sports show. I don't want this to be only a political show. I don't want it to be only a cooking show. I don't want to structure it in that way. I want to allow the chat to change and adjust the structure as they see fit. They'll know when they want to talk about something and they'll lead the way. At that point, when the chat is populated, I'll have to be doing moderator work to keep the bots out. Okay. I'll be busy. From the number of bots that I see on other shows, I'm going to be real busy. Probably busier than I want to be. I'll probably have to get moderators at some point once it takes off. But right now, YouTube doesn't know who to show the show to. They don't know who to advertise us to. They'll sort it out and they'll figure it out in their own good time. They're professional. They know what the heck they're doing. I don't care if it takes a month. Big deal. I'm going to be here for 3 years. Yeah, I'm working on other things like the height of my camera, right? Well, when I put my head down, you don't see the glare coming off my glasses. So that's why I'm thinking I should have the camera up higher. But we'll work it all out eventually. Eventually, somebody will get in the chat room and say, hey, just take your glasses off. It doesn't matter to me. Well, I do need the glasses to read the chat, though. It's amazing how that works. I just want to talk to people, visit, find out what's going on in their life. It's what I do with my family every week. I get together on Tuesday mornings at a family breakfast, and I'm looking at pictures and having discussions with people about what's going on with their kids and their grandkids. And, it's just a 2-hour gossip session. And that's the same thing this show's going to end up being eventually. Eventually, people will get in here and they'll be talking our ears off. Okay. If you've ever seen a live chat room take off, they get downright busy. As long as I can drink my Gatorade and smoke my cigarettes, I'm good. I can sit here. I'm on my own couch in my own living room, right? I didn't even have to drive to work today. I woke up and I was already here. We're getting more and more viewers every week. It's moving. Slow but sure, brick by brick, we're going to get to where we need to be. YouTube will sort us out. They'll put us in front of the people that we need to be in front of in order to become successful. They need our chat room to be populated. They're doing the live stream. They're broadcasting it. They want people to watch what they're broadcasting. I could run out and hire a marketing department and have them get on every social media platform. I have no interest in doing that. Not for this show. Maybe down the road, other shows, we'll see what the media company gets into. For right now, this is the only show I want to do. And that's because I want to meet people and talk to people. Hey, as long as this show satisfies my needs, I don't need to make money. Okay. I know the rest of the world is money driven and it's all greed but I'm not. Well, for one thing, 33 years in the table games industry in Las Vegas, Nevada, I lost all respect for money. It really doesn't mean the same thing to me that it used to. I've seen too much of it pissed away. Okay. If you want to talk about gambling, we can. I know more than the most. Plain and simple. Well, I'm a Lions fan, right? And I saw this morning that the line on the Lions playing at home on Sunday, playing Cleveland. I saw the line had moved to 9.5 points. It's my understanding it opened at 8.5. The line does not mean who's going to win the game. It has nothing to do with who's going to win the game. Most people don't understand that. And the line has to do with the amount of money wagered on the game. The casinos, the bookmakers, are interested in enticing people to bet on not just one side, but on both sides. They're basically going to make you bet $11 to win 10. That extra dollar is their profit. So they open the line at a number that they think will entice equal betting on both sides. When the betting gets unequal, one side is getting more money bet on it than the other side, then they move the line. They adjust the number to get more betting on the other side and thus even them out. It's nothing to do just because the team is favored to win, even by, I don't know, what's the biggest line this week? Maybe 16 points. Doesn't have anything to do with who will win the game. It has only to do with the amount of money wagered on the game. So when the line on the Lions game goes to 9.5, that means they're trying to get people on the Cleveland side to bet more money to even it out, because it started at 8.5, but so many people bet it that now there's a difference, and they adjust that point spread in order to even out and get equal betting on both sides. When there's equal betting on both sides, the casino, the bookmaker, makes money. The line does not tell you who's going to win the game. Just because the team is a 10-point favorite does not mean they're going to win the game. Anything can happen in the game. A key player could get injured. All the point spread and the line has to do with is managing the money, the take of the casino. Most sports books in Las Vegas are, I believe they're winning about 3% of their handle. The handle is the amount of money wagered. So if they can, in the course of a year's time, if their particular casino can book $1 million worth of bets, their goal would be to win or to hold 3% of that. They do not want unequal money. They want it to be equal on both sides. That way they cannot lose. If the money is unequal, they can get beat. They can get beat for a lot of money sometimes. They want the money to be equal on both sides so that they can take the vigorish. The house's win percentage is that extra dollar. When you're betting $11 to win 10, and they get someone on the other side betting also $11 to win 10, there's $2 there that's up for grabs. They're going to win one of those, and they're going to keep that as profit. The other one is going to be paid out. The point spread is just so they can make an adjustment based on the amount of money wagered. If all the money comes in just betting on Detroit, Cleveland could win the game and the casino could suffer a horrific loss and have to pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars. They don't want to pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars unless they also took in hundreds of thousands of dollars. They need it to be equal on both sides. That's their goal, and that's the only thing the point spread has to do with. A 9-point favorite, that team should win the game, but anything can happen in the game. Their star quarterback could go down in the first quarter of the game. Anything, any team can win. The NFL, without thinking about the whole gambling aspect, the NFL is trying to build parity within their league. They want equally matched teams to compete to see who the winner is. If the teams are not equally matched, then they're going to have a harder time getting the fans to watch the game. As long as it's close and competitive, the fans for both sides will watch the game. The point spread, the line that they call it, has nothing to do with who's going to win or who's going to lose. Keep that in mind the next time you place a wager. And I am not trying to encourage anyone to gamble. It's very rare that I would gamble. And I was in that industry for 33 plus years. Gambling is the same as anything else. It's entertainment value for your money. If you're going to a movie and you pay for a ticket, you don't know whether that movie is going to be good or whether it's going to be bad. You're hoping it's good. You're hoping you get the maximum entertainment value for your dollar that you can. Entertainment value for your money. That's with anything that you do, right? Well, why would you buy a Mercedes-Benz versus a Volkswagen? They're both German engineering. Entertainment value for your money, right? How do you value something? What value do you put on your car? If you're going to spend 1 hour a month driving your car, does it matter what type of car you have? Not so much. But if you're spending 2 hours a day driving your car, that might make a difference. You might say, well, I want a smoother, more luxurious ride. I prefer an automatic transmission over a manual transmission, right? It's to get personal value, right? That's what I'm talking about here. But, you guys can jump in the chat and we can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Doesn't matter to me. I like meeting people, finding out where they're from, what's going on in their life, what are the priorities that are concerning them. They vary widely. Last week, I was in the chat room and a guy got in from London, England, and he was trying to wind down and go to sleep because he had to get up and work the next morning, and it was nighttime when he was viewing the show. I believe there's like an 8-hour time difference or something. Regardless, he was getting alerts on his phone that were disturbing him. And while he's trying to wind his mind down and go to sleep, He's getting these alerts, and he's worried, we could get nuked in the middle of the night because Russia was sending drones over Poland or something, and the government was sending out alerts to everyone in England on their phones saying, "Hey, be careful. This situation over here is coming unglued, and we don't know what's going to go on. Just be aware that there are issues," right? Not the kind of alerts you want to get on your phone when you're trying to wind down and get a decent night's sleep because you got to work in the morning. It's nice to see that guy's perspective from my point of view, because in America, we weren't getting those alerts. Nothing, my phone wasn't going off. And my news didn't come on, breaking news, nothing. Well, then our news, our corporate media is extremely tainted. Emphasis on extremely. They're not telling us as much as they are telling us, right? You'd have to go on the internet and you'd have to research and you'd have to find foreign news broadcasts in order to find out, what might be going on in that country, because your country corporate news doesn't want to tell you. They've got it all planned out. We're going to tell them this, this, and this so that we can get this reaction. It's all structured. Oh, don't worry, they went to college. Yeah, it's propaganda, right? Our corporate news shows us crime. They attempt to scare us on a daily basis because fear creates action, right? If you scare someone, they will react. That's all they're doing. It's like it's on steroids, I know, but it's all to instill fear. It gets them clicks. It gets them response. It gets them, they can charge more money for their commercials because more people were tuning in. And the people were tuning in because they got scared and now they're concerned and they need more information. It's a vicious cycle that our corporate media goes through on a daily basis, and they're never going to stop. It's profitable for them, so why would they stop? Their corporations are in business to make money. Hence, Ghost Mostly Media, LLC, needs you to like and subscribe. Okay? Corporations are in business to make money. Not off show, but yes, profit. But not on this show. Okay. Well, there's nobody else giving anything away for free that I can see. Tom Grassi does a YouTube podcast where he has no sponsors, but he does other things that do have commercials, and he does get compensated for. But his Packers broadcast that I watch does not have the sponsors. I respect him for that. Everybody on TV is trying to sell you something except Tom and I. Okay, that's the way I see it from my perspective on my end of my couch. Okay. The hardest thing about starting a business is the first 5 years. Ghost Mostly Media is going to struggle until we get to a point where we're monetized. Once we're monetized, then that opens up a lot of avenues for me to do outside of this show to generate income until it gets to that monetized threshold, right? I just have to be patient. I think that it's just going to be a matter of time. YouTube will figure us out. They'll figure it out. Well, the fact that I've got, some viewing hours and I've got some subscribers means that they're putting us in front of some people. They're testing the market. Maybe they're putting us in front of 1,000 people in bracket A when we need to be in front of 20,000 people in bracket B. Well, they'll figure it out eventually. That's what they do. So I'm not going to sweat it. Well, right now it's easier for me. Okay. I don't have to moderate when there's no one in the chat. My laziness is got a cruise control. Okay. I could tell my friends and family, and I could stack the chat and populate it any day I want, but I'm not doing that. I'm letting YouTube do their thing. Once YouTube does their thing and the chat is populated, then I'll tell my friends and family, right? But if I stack the chat and I get all my friends and family, and YouTube will say, oh, this guy's in Southwest Michigan, and that's where all his viewership is coming from. So we need to put him in front of people in Southwest Michigan. No, that's not what I want. I want the chat to go worldwide. So I don't want to put up anything that would falsely influence YouTube's business decisions. Let's allow YouTube to sort us out first, and then I'll tell my friends and family. I tell a few people, when I'm walking through the park and talking to somebody, and they say, oh, what do you do? Well, I got a podcast I'm just starting. I don't generally give them enough information that they could look the show up. Okay. I keep it very generalized. Once the chat is populated, then I'll be happy to give people more information and lead them directly to the channel, Well, right now, I think it serves me best to allow YouTube to do what they do. Hopefully, it won't take them too much longer. I think that eventually they'll sort us out, and then we'll just magically appear in the recommended category for the people that are into chatting, the people that have already got the Discord app. Whereas right now, I think we're probably being put in front of people that don't have the Discord app. Okay. They'll figure it out. They'll sort it out all on their own. They're big boys and girls. I don't mean to be misogynistic. It's, just going to take them some time. I'm going to be here for 3 years, so I'm patient. It'll happen when it happens. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on in your life. And my life here in Michigan is pretty quiet. But I'm not in the rat race anymore. Retired or semi-retired, however you look at me, my days are pretty even keeled, very little excitement. Okay. By most standards, probably boring. Okay. My life did not used to be that way. When I was in Las Vegas, I was always on the go. I was always busy. It was nonstop. And it was, I'm comfortable now. I don't have to stress and worry. I don't have the stress in my life that I used to. But my kids are grown and off on their own. And, my life has changed completely. All those years in Vegas, I tried to fit 30 hours into every 24-hour day. Cut myself short on sleep most of the time in the interest of staying busy and having fun. I used to go out to a lot of shows. I don't go to very many shows now. I enjoyed Las Vegas, and I enjoyed all the amenities in Las Vegas. The live music, number one. I do miss the live music. Live music is very fun to me, in my opinion. I miss some of the live music, I told a story last week about how I remember one evening, uh, the wife and I had gone out. We went to see an Anita Baker concert, and we had poor seats. So 15 minutes into the show, we got up and left, went across the street and went into the House of Blues and saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we were in the front row. Okay. Well, in Vegas, you can always pay your way to the front row. But my point is that there were many choices for entertainment. Whereas now, I'm going to go to a movie theater, but there's only 3 in town. So what show do I want to go see? You know what I mean? The option, I have fewer options, especially when it comes to live music. Well, being in Southwest Michigan now, I am closer to family and relatives. Specifically, I get a lot more time with my father, and I really enjoy that. Well, for all those years, he and I were both working and generally different shifts, and we lived 1,500 miles apart. We didn't get as much time together as we get now. Now I go out to breakfast with him a couple of days a week. I see him all the time. I talk to him all the time. But I'm not busy like I used to be. It's like my sons. I talked to my oldest son yesterday, but uh, I generally can go a week without talking to them, or 2 weeks. They're busy. They've got a life. Okay. They're doing things with their family, their immediate family, or their friends, or their circle of people that they associate with. I had two sons, 23 years apart. Do the math on that. Yeah. Which means that next Monday, my oldest turns 51, and my youngest is 28. That's the way my life worked out, is I had children 23 years apart. I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know many people that have done it that way. Most of the people have their kids 1, 2, 3, and they get the stair steps and they raise them, and then they're all gone at the same time. In my instance, my oldest was able to be trusted to babysit the younger. Worked out for me. It saved me money in the long run, I think. They're both good boys. I also have a 17-year-old granddaughter who is just a treasure. She's working her first job. It's a very exciting time for her. I remember my first job. It sucked. She's gone into retail. I never worked in retail. It's a horse of a different color, you know. I did some work in sales at some points in my life, but wasn't really my cup of tea. I did good in the casino industry, but that's too high stress for a lot of people. Being on the front line and dealing with people that are on vacation and they're celebrating, a lot of times they have too much to drink, or it can get dicey from time to time. It helped me to get a thicker skin. It's very hard for people to upset me now. It's extremely hard to make me angry. I can actually make myself angry easier than you can make me angry. Okay. Yeah, I can go down a rabbit hole and lose patience with myself from time to time. I don't know. Maybe that's a poor reflection on me. I don't know. I think that the technology of the day that enables me to do this is amazing. I look at this now and I remember when computers first came out, and I went into a Radio Shack and bought my first Tandy. Okay. I remember I thought Windows 98 was the greatest computer program ever. I loved Windows 98. Okay. I don't own anything that's Windows anymore. Okay. My opinions changed. My preferences changed. I'm currently on my Chromebook. Well, I think Google, they've done some things right. They've sorted things out to the point where it all works together. right now, the biggest thing in my life is I'm considering changing my internet provider. I currently have Spectrum, and their Wi-Fi is, let's say, not as good as it could be, in my opinion. That's only in my opinion. I'm actually looking at going with T-Mobile. I'm open to suggestion. Do you have a company that you would recommend? The problem I have here in Southwest Michigan is that they've basically given small monopolies to different areas of town, right? Like I can only, based on my location, I can only have a couple of different companies. I don't have access to all of them because they've given them their own territory. It seems foolish. Let's just leave it at that. Foolish. I think that if the town was wide open, then the opposing companies could compete for my business and thus drive the cost down. My cost would be lower. They probably just paid off a local politician and said, hey, let's do this. And the local politician took the bribe like they all do. To me, a politician is similar to a bad hooker. Okay. Personal opinion. A bad hooker is the one that takes your money and doesn't exchange her services. That's the way a politician appears to me. My local politician takes my money, but then he does not represent me. He represents a corporation that paid him a larger amount of money. He's like a bad hooker. Okay. I think that America would be much better off if we never elected or never re-elected a politician. No incumbents. I think that it would be, for speaking for the people, the mass of the population, I believe that it would be to our benefit to never re-elect any politician. Just as a general rule. You got one shot, get it right, and move on. It would stop these career politicians dead in their tracks. If your state has a senator and has had the same guy for 30 years, he's a multimillionaire, and you guys are struggling, plain and simple. Or she. I don't mean to be misogynistic. When I say he, I mean either male or female. I don't mean just the male. Just more proof that I'm not AI. I'm not fake. I'm a flawed human being, and you can catch me in a mistake on a daily basis. Feel free. The toughest part about being a human is realizing and learning from your mistakes. It's some of those mistakes can be pretty big. Okay. I think as you mature as a human being, you start making better choices as a matter of survival. You just realize that, hey, if I don't start choosing better, I'm not going to make it. Okay. I don't know why the bad decisions seem to be costlier. Maybe it's just psychological, but it seems to me that good decisions that I make are not as rewarding as the bad decisions are painful. I well, I yeah. You guys should get in the chat and sort that one out. Okay. That's my opinion. Is see, sometimes I need the chat to come in here and straighten me out. Once again, I don't care what we talk about. I really don't. Without you guys getting in the chat, we're stuck with my own mental wanderings. And there's no telling what path I'm going to take next. Hey, I shaved today. You know, I thought about putting an overshirt on. I just didn't think about it when I got dressed. We'll try that again tomorrow. You know, I got some nice shirts, you know. I wear the black and gray t-shirts. Back in the day when I used to wear a suit and tie, I always wore a white t-shirt. I don't own a white t-shirt anymore. Okay. I don't have 16 suits in my closet anymore either. Right. My wardrobe is completely changed. I'm working on the hair. I'm brushing it twice a day now. I know. Well, when I was working in the casinos, I wore my hair in a pompadour, right? And nowadays, I don't even have a barber anymore, you know. Well, if I do go get a haircut, then it's going to grow out and I'm going to have to go get another haircut and another one after that and another one after that. That's like creating more errands that I have to run, more chores that I have to do. With the long hair, all I got to do is wash it, run a brush through it, and it's good. I keep it off my face. I'm all right. It's the same thing with a beard. I shaved over here and over here today, cleaned up in this area, you know, but I didn't trim this. A couple of ladies were trying to talk me into braiding. They said, put that in two braids running down. And I was thinking about one braid. I don't really mess with it. Well, number one, who am I going to get to braid my beard? That in itself is an odd question, you know. And then, you know, how long does the braid have to stay in? I, you know, I wouldn't know on this stuff. Well, it's the first time I've grown a beard. All those years in Vegas, I had to look all clean cut and trustworthy. I'm not going for clean cut and trustworthy. Not now. Now I'm going for, I don't know, comfort, ease of care, or some, I don't know. I never really thought about it. Well, you know, I still think I'm pretty. I mean, I'm the only eye candy on this show till you guys get in the chat. You know, it is what it is. I've got a pretty thick skin. You're not going to hurt my self-esteem if you tell me I got to get a haircut. It's okay. I can live through it. Yeah, I'm curious as to what I'm going to do with this media channel. The only thing I offered anyone to do or talk to anyone about is a couple of months ago, I was having dinner with my pastor, and I offered it to him. I suggested, why don't you come on and like read a Bible story or tell a Bible story for 15 minutes, and then do like a 45-minute interaction with the chat, and thus have an hour show. But he's already, he's got a church, and he's got a denomination that he works with, and he's already busy. He's got a full life, he's got a wife and kids, a church and parishioners, and he's already broadcasting on Facebook, right? His Sunday service he puts on Facebook. I offered it to him if he wanted to do it. You know what I mean? And I would do his show for free. I would produce it for free, Well, I call him my pastor, but he's actually my father's pastor. Well, let's just say he's the only pastor I'm willing to claim as my own. Okay, I'm not sure what you're going to do with that, but he's a nice guy, and I liked his wife and his kids. They're all nice people. Okay, I meet a lot of nice people. I don't offer them all a free show, on my channel, but I did him, Pastor Tim. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this media. I've thought about a number of things, and I'm not even sure you can do some of the things that I've thought of doing, right? Like, well, I know you can do fishing videos. I was thinking about doing bass fishing videos. You wouldn't know it to look at me, but I'm a pretty good bass fisherman. Okay, in my opinion. When I was raised here in Southwest Michigan, I was an avid hunter and fisherman. I lived my whole life as a hunter and fisherman. I didn't stop shooting until my eyesight went. When I was no longer a crack shot, I stopped shooting and I got rid of my guns. There was no point to me. It felt like a waste of ammunition when I couldn't hit dead center on the target I was shooting at every time. And I know with corrective lenses, it just wasn't the same. I wasn't as good as I used to be. So I didn't get as much enjoyment out of it. It's like if you're a bowler with a 200 average and now something happens and you can only bowl 150 games, you might lose interest in the sport. And that's what happened to me. I also used to hunt and fish to fill my freezer. I don't do that anymore. Well, number one, it's just me here. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I'm single now. I don't have to provide for the family. I got to provide for me. I know, like, what I'm having for dinner tonight, I didn't have to catch. I had to go to Harding's and buy it. I'm having chicken wings this evening. And I've decided that a single portion is 25 wings, in case that ever comes up. A single portion of chicken wings for one man, it should be 25 wings. That's the way I see it. That's my opinion. I was thinking I might make some French fries or something to go with it, but I'm probably just going to have the wings. I don't have to put on a whole meal when I'm only feeding myself. You know what I mean? Well, I try to grocery shop once a week, right? Plan my meals out accordingly, and I try to buy everything that I'm going to eat for the next week, and for this week, I got a couple of days worth of chicken. I got a couple of ham steaks that looked pretty good to me. Um, a pack of hot dogs. I basically bought meals for 5 days, and I figure I'll fake it on the other two. You know, just cook whatever's in the house. Or maybe order a pizza or something outlandish. I don't know. I could go out to dinner or something one night or something too. For the most part, I try to cook at home. And the problem with cooking at home is that it generates dirty dishes. And then doing those dishes is the chore that I hate. Okay. I literally hate doing dishes. I do a good job on them, and I do them every day. Okay. But it doesn't mean that I like it. I can remember, I think I was 6 years old, and my mother made me start doing dishes. And be honest with you, I've hated it ever since. I don't hate the mother. I hate the dishes. I hate the chore. No, what I do when I do dishes nowadays is I generally write lyrics, song lyrics, while I'm doing the dishes. And I used to like to write song lyrics, you know. Gives my mind something to do. my brain. All those years in the casino business, I always had numbers. I always had math going on in my mind, and those days are gone. I don't trust my math skills anymore. I use a calculator to double check myself. Okay, but words jump through there, and when I'm doing dishes, I go to my happy place in my mind, so I don't piss myself off. But yeah, I don't care for doing dishes. I don't like to vacuum either, but you don't have to vacuum as often as you have to do dishes. But yeah, I do my household chores every day. You know, I get up, I make my bed, I do my dishes, I keep the house clean. I do even the jobs that I don't like doing, like dusting. You know, people ask me all the time when they come in here, why don't you have any pictures on the wall? Because then I got to dust them. I don't like dusting. I got uh, two things up on my wall. I got a calendar and I got a picture that my sister made for me. That's it. Well, one of my sisters, I should say. I have many. Well, my parents uh, divorced and then both remarried, and then at some point divorced again and remarried. And so I got stepsisters, half sisters, that kind of crap. And I don't get into the whole in law outlaw thing. To me, a sister's a sister. I don't care whether. Personal opinion, you know. I just don't do the whole in law outlaw. A sister in law is not a sister in law, she's a sister, right? Uh, that's the way I see it. Uh, I don't consider the whole in law thing to be necessary. You know, but that's my personal opinion. You're entitled to yours, I'm entitled to mine, right? That's what this show's all about, as a matter of fact. Jump in the chat room and voice your opinion. Go to YouTube, download the Discord app, and get in here and chat Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's your show, it's wide open. Talk about anything you want to talk about within the community guidelines that are previously set up by YouTube, right? We got to follow the rules, right? Even if they're not our rules, that we're on the YouTube platform, so we need to adhere and respect their community guidelines that they have established. I have not dug into the weeds on the analytics of this show. I glanced at it and I saw, okay, we've got a few subscribers now. We've got a few viewing hours now. And then I closed it. We're moving in the right direction. We'll get there to where we got to be eventually. It's no sweat. But I do need, I guess it helps with the algorithm if I get the likes. I don't know how that helps with the algorithm, but it does. And I've even as I'm watching my TV in the evenings, I'm actually starting to give people more likes and taking the time, to help them out with their algorithm issues. For the most part, I've been a ghost. I've been invisible. I've been watching people on YouTube and not liking and not subscribing for years. I've just recently started doing the subscriptions and the likes and trying to get with the program. I'm, you know, well, I'm starting to chat a little bit more now. I didn't today, but you know, I chat. Well, I have chatted on a couple of different shows, TMZ Live and Mike Kimber, uh, Chat Sports. I chat mostly with Mike Kimber because I identify mostly with Mike Kimber. I'm in Southwest Michigan. He's in Southwest Michigan. Right? I'm single. He's single. Right? We have common ground. And we're both Lions fans. And if you're watching him call a Lions game and he's screaming, I can pretty much guarantee you I'm screaming the exact same words in my living room. We have a lot of common ground, Mike and I. He doesn't know me from Adam, and he probably never will. Okay. But he'll be on an hour before the game starts, so I tune in and he says, "Who do you think's going to win?" So I type in Lions. And what do you think the final score is going to be? I'm projecting this. So I type in what my score is going to be. So I'm interacting with him a little bit. The one on TMZ is occasionally I'll have time that I can interact with them a little bit. But lately I haven't had the time, so I haven't been interacting with them. Well, their show is still going on when this podcast starts. So at some point I have to shut them off, right? But it's just the shows that I watch. I watch a lot of shows that I don't chat on at all. I watch mostly YouTube now. I mean, I tried HBO Max the other day, and they had commercials. I can't stand commercials. So, if I'm watching a show and it's got a commercial, I'm likely to forget what I'm watching. And if I forget what I'm watching, I click out of it. Okay. Personal opinion. Don't click out of this show. No, it's okay. I understand. Yeah, YouTube has these tiers that I must achieve to get my media company monetized. And that is the goal, is to eventually become monetized so that I can post videos and actually receive payment. Not for this show. This show's got no sponsors. This show's got no ads. And I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. But Ghost Mostly Media LLC is going to do other projects other than this show, right? This show is for me to meet and talk to people. It was an area that was missing from my life. In all my years in Las Vegas, I enjoyed meeting people from all over the world and talking to them and finding out what's going on in their life. What major thing is going on. And, you can trust that kind of news. Whereas when you turn on corporate media on your television, it's all tainted. It's all biased. They're not showing you a lot of things. A lot of things that they should be showing you, they're not showing you. But they're not interested in presenting you the news. They're interested in making money. That's the only thing they care about. So if you're watching a TV station that's owned by a corporation, do you think they're going to add a story that puts their corporation in a bad light? No. They're feeding you what they need to feed you to manipulate you to tune into their other shows, right? It's the old teaser headline, only it's all on steroids now. It's all blown all out of proportion. They're trying to scare you, right? Your fear, they can correlate to their dollars, their income. Your fear equals income for them. Plain and simple. That's why they do it. You want to teach them a lesson? You should turn them off. Don't watch. Self-censorship is necessary nowadays. It's okay to shut them off. You don't need to be scared every day of the week. Okay? It's bad for you. Stress is killing people all over the planet. They want to create confrontation, create drama, create fear. Right? It's ridiculous. You don't need any of those things in your life. You don't need drama in your life. You need less drama. You don't need confrontation. You need less confrontation. You don't need fear. A minuscule amount of fear keeps you alive. Okay? Keeps you from making poor choices. When you're at the edge of the Grand Canyon, a little bit of fear is a good thing. It stops you from stepping over the edge, right? That little bit of fear can save your life. That's a good amount of fear. But you can't have so much fear that you can say, well, I can't leave my apartment. I'm afraid to go out there. It's too scary. You have to control that fear. And our society does not teach you how to control your fears. They should, but they don't. A little bit of fear is good. It can keep you alive. But too much fear is bad. It can give you an ulcer. It can give you mental issues, right? Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. You have to care for both. And that's why I say you might need to self-censorship. You might need to stop watching that news just for a while. Give yourself a break. Cut yourself some slack. Okay? A steady diet of fear is not good for anyone, except the guy that's feeding you that fear to try to control and manipulate you. It's good for him. He's making money off of it. Now, I can relate fear to a lot of things, but I have a fear of heights, but I still get on airplanes. I still have been to the edge of the Grand Canyon, right? I still been up mountains. I've still spent time at the Continental Divide. Cannot let your fears control your life. Just like you can't let your wallet control your life. Too much fear is bad for your health, plain and simple. They can measure stress in your mind. They did it with two guys playing chess, hooked them up to electrodes. And, you know, your heart rate changes, you start to perspire, your body goes through physical changes when you have mental activity that can correlate. As one guy starts losing, you see his heart rate change, his breathing pattern changes. He starts to sweat, he's getting nervous, he's stressing out. And that mental stress changes his physical being. So you have to recognize when you're stressed out. That's why I personally like to recommend counseling to people. Learn how to deal with your stress. Go and get a second opinion and talk to someone and learn how to deal with your stress. It's very stressful. Life in the United States it's fast paced. Boy, they're just popping. Things are happening. And if you get on social media at all, I guarantee you're feeling stress. These people are busy trolling each other and trying to micromanage one another. Okay. And all that's doing is creating stress for everybody that's involved. It's not necessary. Food is necessary. Oxygen is necessary. Stress is not necessary. You don't need stress to survive. Okay. What you need to survive is, the basics that every human being needs to survive. The stress is something that is piled on. You can worry yourself to death, in my opinion. Okay. At some point, you need to escape all that worry. I do it all the time. I'll turn on my PS4 and fire up a video game. There's no stress when I'm playing the video game. Stress is out in the real world. Okay. Excuse me. Today is a stress-free day. I'm not stressed about no one being in the chat. They're going to be there eventually. I think this job will be actually more stressful once the chat's populated, because I'm going to try to read all the chats and I'm going to try to read them out loud. And then I'm going to have to do the moderating and kick out the bots. And, you know, whereas right now I've got this down. I keep the laptop wired up to my router so that I don't have the physical issues that I was having from doing a live stream. The only thing I got to do is dodge all the wires and not trip over them. I have enough life experience to understand that I don't know everything. I have a very high need to know level, so I'd like to know what's on your mind, what's stressing you out, what you want to talk about. I'm looking forward to the day where I can learn again from this chat room. I can learn what's going on and what's on people's minds and what's their priority, right? I know my own priorities, but I don't know your priorities. I would like to know your priorities. A lot of what I'm doing on this is repetitive, and I'm not trying to be boring. Until I can get people to jump in the chat and interact with me, I think it can get real boring. Once people start interacting with me, I think the boredom level is going to be tossed out the window. I don't think once the chat's populated, I don't think anyone will ever get bored with this show. I enjoy talking to people because I respect people. I respect their opinions. I even respect their perspective. Perspective is real tricky. That's part of the division of peoples that's going on in America is people have got a very narrow perspective. For instance, the guy that watches only MSNBC News versus the guy that watches only Fox News. They both have a totally different perspective. They see things completely different because they're fed different information. A well-rounded person will check the broadcast on both and make his determination as somewhere in the middle. He'll find his common ground in what he wants to believe. It's hard for people to see another perspective when they've got the tunnel vision going on. You need to look around, check other perspectives, think about other perspectives. A lot of people have been radicalized by only seeing their own perspective. If you can see other people's perspective, you can never be radicalized. I've met enough people in my lifetime that I know that people are all inherently good. They really are. You can't tell that by watching your news. No, they're not showing you all the goodness that's going on. People are helping one another. They're counseling one another. They're on the same team, even when they don't realize it. Crumbelina was telling me a story a couple of weeks back about a good Samaritan that came out of nowhere. She was out and about running around town, and she had locked both her keys and her phone in her car at the same time. She didn't know what to do. Good Samaritan comes up from out of nowhere and says, point blank, "What do you need?" She says, "I need to go home, get my spare keys, come back, and get in my car." He said, "All right, let's go." And he took her home. She got her spare key. He took her right back to her car. A good Samaritan. He did not make the nightly news broadcast. Go figure. They didn't want to tell you that he was there and that he was helping for nothing. He wouldn't even take gas money from her. Okay? There are people like that all over the globe. They will go out of their way to help a stranger. They are truly good Samaritans. It'll never make the news. They won't put it on there. Could you imagine that news tease line? Good Samaritan found in Southwest Michigan on a Wednesday. Full story at 11. Are you going to tune in? No. Right? Because they didn't scare you into tuning in. They would rather tell you, woman stranded in parking lot, afraid to talk to stranger. Story at 11, right? Yeah, it's absurd. They don't tell us about the good news because it doesn't manipulate the masses. If they did tell us about the good news, you'd find out that there's more good than there is bad. My goal, as I look at the clock and see I got to wind down the show, is to talk to the people about live and let live. Don't try to micromanage your neighbor. Leave him alone. Why should you leave him alone? Allow him to be an individual. If you're mowing your lawn north and south and he's mowing his east and west, what do you have to complain about? You want him to mow north and south? It's not your concern. Leave him alone. Be thankful he's mowing his lawn at all. You want to be a gun owner and you want people to leave gun owners alone? Then stop picking on the transgender guy. Leave him alone. Or girl. You know what I'm saying. Leave people alone. Let them be unique. Let them be individuals. Let them lead their life the way they see fit. Don't try and pick and choose for others. It's never going to be a success. You cannot talk a Christian into becoming a Muslim. You can't force him to become a Muslim. You can't do it. Leave the man alone. Or leave the person alone, right? Live and let live. I guarantee you when push comes to shove, that neighbor that you want to control and you want to manipulate and you want to micromanage his life because it's not measuring up to your standards, I guarantee you, when we're all standing in chest-high floodwaters and he's got a boat, he's going to pull you out of the water, and vice versa. You're going to pull him out of the water. Okay? It doesn't matter what color his hat is. Okay? It does not. You don't care who he voted for when he's pulling you out of this flood. And your government's not going to be there to pull you out of the flood. The only guy that's going to be there is your neighbor, the one that won't mow his lawn in the right direction. What was he thinking? Leave the man or woman alone. Be patient with one another. Be understanding of one another. Be compassionate with each other. Okay? That neighbor is the closest thing you got to family right now. Your brother's probably on the other side of town or in a totally different town. Your brother can't help you out. Whereas your neighbor, you can walk out in the front yard and you can see him and you can wave and you say, "Hey, hi, how are you today?" That's all you got to do. No, cut people some slack. Let them do what they're going to do. It's not what you see on the news. They're not all criminals. He doesn't have a gun in the back of his pants, and he's not sitting around planning to rob you. Were you sitting around all day today planning a heist? I wasn't. He wasn't either. That crap's on TV. It's make-believe. In real life, people are not all sitting around premeditating crimes. It's just not happening. Walk out your front door and point to the crook. You can't. You don't see him. He's on TV. He's on the news, right? Every time they say, "Oh, there was a shooter yesterday." Well, 339 million Americans did not shoot anybody yesterday, and they're not going to shoot anybody tomorrow. It's a fact. Walk up to your Google search. What is the current crime rate of the American population? How many people in America are criminals? It's going to kick you out a number. It's going to give you a percentage. Research it. You're going to find out that the good guys outnumber the bad guys almost 10-1. And of those bad guys, 2 million of them are already behind bars. They're sitting in prison. Which means that the cops on the street outnumber the bad guys. And this is Wednesday. They outnumber them on Thursday, too. They outnumber them on Friday, too. I have this discussion with my father all the time. Should you go walking down a dark alley at 3 o'clock in the morning? No. You should have some fear that stops you from doing that. That would not be a prudent cause of action. No, I should not do that. Right? But if it's 5:30 p.m. and you need to walk down that alley, can you? Yes, you can. There's no guarantee to be a criminal in that alley. How many criminals do you think there are? How many crimes did you and your family premeditate today? 0? Same as my family. 0. We're not criminals. And I'll take it further out of the United States. I'll take that around the globe. I've met people from every country you can think of. And I can't tell you any of them were criminals. I was watching Tom Grassi did a charity drive, and he did a live stream that was in essence 24 hours a day, 7 days in a row. He raised over $1 million from charity, and I saw donations to that charity that came from the country of Iran. They donated money to a charity. What was the charity? Fallen Patriots, for the education of children of dead American soldiers from the country of Iran. They're donating money. People are good all over this planet. Governments are bad. Criminals are bad. But people are not. People in general are good. They have good thoughts. They have good morals, good ethics, good values. I'm not planning to shoot anyone. If you're planning to shoot someone, you've probably been radicalized. You need to get some counseling. You need to get some help. Not for the other people. The help is for you. You need to listen to your neighbor. He's not plotting to kill you. He's trying to do the exact same things that you're doing from his perspective. He's got to go to work every day. He's got to pay his bills when they're due. He's got to grocery shop. He's got to have his kids and raise his kids. He's got to see that his children are educated. He's got to do everything you got to do. He's even got to do dishes. Okay? As much as I hate it, we all have to clean up. If we don't clean up, we're living in a cesspool, right? All this being said, live and let live. I'm your host for Afternoon Chat, Ghost Mostly. I'm signing off the air for today. I'll be back on 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow for another episode of Afternoon Chat. You're welcome to join me. All right. Have a good day and be nice to one another. Live and let live. We'll see you tomorrow.